Let's bring in Congresswoman Donna Edwards of Maryland's 4th District. Congresswoman, thanks so much for your time tonight.
Thank you, Chris. It's good to be with you.
So there's a lot happening in the other chamber, but let's begin with the House. Is your caucus prepared to vote for the middle-class tax cut extension alone? And will passing that be a problem if it's done under suspension rules, which would require a 2/3 vote?
Well, I think that's a good question. I mean, I think that we are committed as Democrats, we've stated this all along with the president, to provide tax cuts for incomes up to $250,000. That means even the millionaires get up to their $250,000 with a tax cut. And so I'm really, I'm very clear that this is where we need to be as a Democratic caucus, is where we need to be for the American people. And we don't need to have that linked to unemployment benefits. Those need to be extended as well for the people whose unemployment begins expiring today.
There's been some talk about coming up with another linkage. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer said today that Democrats may tie tax cuts for those who make more than $250,000 to the extension of unemployment benefits. It sounds like that is not something that you are that you are interested in. Do you already see the House leadership starting to look for compromises, or can they just bring this vote without throwing something else in there?
I don't think these things are actually related. I mean, even if you look at the congressional district that's right over in Virginia that has the highest median incomes in the country, they're at 100,000 median income, and so that's nowhere near 250,000. We've always extended unemployment benefits at a time when we have this kind of record unemployment. This should be no different. It's never been about politics. Families who need unemployment benefits are Republicans and Democrats and independents, and we're going into a holiday season where we face the risk that 2 million people in this country are going to lose their unemployment benefits because the Republicans have turned this into politics.
Wait, can I ask you one question? I mean, when you look at the fact that what was previously routine, which is essentially just re-upping these unemployment benefit extensions, where we have 9.4% unemployment, when you look at something like that has now become this massive fight, it's already expired for a lot of people. Does it feel to you like Congress is deeply broken? Because watching it, that's what it starts to feel like.
Well, I think that for the millions of people who are unemployed and who've been unemployed for a very long time, it feels awfully broken. But I want to get, to the brass tacks here. There are people who will not be able to put food on their table, pay their mortgages, and pay their utilities because of the nickeling and diming that's going on to extend unemployment benefits, when the other side is perfectly willing to provide tax cuts for people who have incomes over $250,000 to the tune of $700 billion a year without asking to pay for a dime of that, putting it on the backs of our children and grandchildren. We have to actually expose the hypocrisy, and that's why I want a clean vote on the tax cuts for those for the income up to $250,000 and a clean vote on extending unemployment benefits. It's actually the right thing to do.
And finally, I want to get your quick thoughts on two other pieces of legislation, both of which, if I'm not mistaken, have passed the House and are in the proverbial Senate limbo, which is the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and the DREAM Act, which would allow children of immigrants essentially to apply for student aid and get a path for citizenship. What are the prospects for those, and how important do you think those two bills are?
Well, as you've mentioned, I mean, this is really up to the United States Senate and to the leadership in the Senate to say, forget all of the, the monkey business with the rules. The military has already come out and said don't ask, don't tell is a no-brainer for 70% of our servicemen and women who know that they will continue to do their jobs in the way that they do and the best way that they do by repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell. It's time to do that. We've done it in the House. The Senate has to act. And as to the DREAM Act, this is really a very simple question for a lot of young people who lived in this country and been educated in this country all their lives to be able to continue their education, to contribute to our society and our communities. It's the right thing to do. It's the right time to do it. And Congress doesn't just get to take a break like Republicans want just because we had a midterm election. We have, all of us in the 111th Congress, have a job up until the end of the year. We have to continue to do our job.
Yeah, you don't get to leave work at 4 o'clock. Congresswoman
That's right.
Donna Edwards, thanks for taking the time to talk with us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.